Good morning, good night, or good evening, everyone. This is Lord Holland 4293, and we are bringing you Irian. Irian, the forgotten premium ship of the Pan-Asians. You don't see this ship anymore. I mean, you do see it, but you don't see it as often as it should be played. This thing is a really great ship. Again, it's basically a Chapayev. So let's go to Chapayev. So let's look. So as far as economic boost, you know, it's the standard, nothing special. Armor layout, 25 millimeter, 27. She'll take HE damage. So don't expect to be tanking at all. Let's move some of this armor for you. You can see the Citadel. Citadel is above the waterline. Let's go to Chapayev. Same Citadel. And basically the exact same armor. So it has Chappie armor, which is actually still pretty tanky. But the Citadel is a little bit higher on Chappie. And Irian, you can visibly see it is a tiny bit lower. So Irian is on paper tankier than Chappie. Survivability wise, 41,200. Chappie with a full upgrade is 37,000. So Irian gets a better health advantage. For artillery, there's not much difference in the artillery. Irian gets 17.5 for max range on Irian, 8-second reload, 4.8 for switching shells. Chappie, even though it says 8 seconds, I don't have gun feeder, so it's the exact same for guns. But it gets a 0.2 minus range, so not much. But there's not much difference. I mean, so Irian wins it in artillery, and Irian definitely wins it in torps. Chappies are 4 and 65 knots. Irians are 69 knots and do 13.8. But they're deep waters, so they can only hit cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers. Now, these are Yu-Yang torps also. These things do a hell of a lot of damage. They do 18,000 damage, basically minus torpedo protection. So these things hit hard. And you can sense they're such a long range, you can spam them, turn away, drop a reload booster, and spam them again. That's like 20 torps you're shoving down range. That's a lot of torp power. So that is her whole gimmick. And that is a huge gimmick of the whole Pan-Asian line, is the torp spam. And that she does win. She does get better AA than Chappie. Chappie is 66. Irian is 73. Now for AA mounts, she gets these big guys. These are Grozavoy guns. So she gets, like, pretty good AA. She is actually very decent AA, so don't underestimate the AA on this ship. Now, for modules, I do run rudder shift. For Chappie, I did have propulsion, because I was running it in clan battles for tier 8. So I wanted stuff to go back and forth. You can run either of them. It really doesn't matter, honestly. I would probably choose propulsion for Irian if you wanted to if you were going to stop and, but if you're going to play kind of constantly moving, do the steering gears for sure. But this is pretty much how you really want to run her. You can run main armaments, but I like to run auxiliary armaments for my AA. Damage control 1, aiming systems modification 1, steering gears or propulsion, and then concealment. Concealment is an easy one, unless you want to be really gutsy and run a lighthouse build Irian and get more rudder shift. You can do that. Now, concealment wise, Irian is 10.8. Chappie 10.4. So Chappie does beat Irian as far as detection, and Chappie gets radar and hydro. So Chappie can kill destroyers. Irian, not so much. Irian gets hydroacoustics consumable and a reload booster. 5 km detection on ships, 3.5 on torpedoes, and 2 km on subs. Chappie, exact same. So they get the same kind of hydro. So you're not losing anything, but you're gaining a lot more offensive power in terms of range and torp power. And that's where Irian shines, is having that ability to drop torps at such a long range, light the fires, and then drop the torps and get those floods on, and just damage stack. She is a really great ship. Now, for camo-wise, this is her base camo, what you would get if you just bought her right now. It's a very elegant camo. It's not a bad camo. It's actually very pretty. Now, if you get the Lunar New Year containers and you spend some money on those, you'll get the what is that called? Garuda camo, which is basically like a... I don't really know how to explain it. I think it's kind of supposed to be like a serpent goddess of some kind. But it's supposed to be, you know, representing the New Year and that type of cultural. But it is a very beautiful camo. As you can look at the guns, it's like stonework that's been architecturally done. The bridge looks like a house. And it's just very beautiful to look at. I mean, it is a very elegant camo. It reminds me of a weapon a weapon for a more civilized age. And it really is just a very beautiful ship. I have to hand it to the art department. They did a very beautiful job on the Lunar New Year camo. The Lunar New Year camos are probably some of the best and most beautiful camos in the game. Absolutely, in my opinion. But that is basically the gist of the Irian. Her stats don't really give her much credit. So we're going to go straight into the replay, and we're going to show you what this ship actually does. Hello, and welcome to an Irian review. Now, Irian, like I said, is the forgotten gem of the Pan-Asian premiums. She's very forgotten. Now, I do have the Pan-Asian Lunar New Year camo for this. I got lucky when I opened up one set one year and got the Irian and the camo for it. So it is a beautiful camo, very beautiful camo. But like I said, Irian, she's basically like a cross. Like the Kutuzov is just a chappie with smoke. Irian is just a chappie with...
Attack the enemy naval base from the specified direction.
Sorry. Ooh. Tired. Irian is just a chappie with long-range torps. 12k torps that do really high damage. Like, we're looking at 18,000 damage. These are like Yu-Yang torps at tier 8. And a reload booster. So, you pop all those torps out, that's 16. That's about, what is that, like 5 torps each side, so 10 torps, so that's about 20 torps you're spitting out. Now, this is only Shajing Bing, so it's only 11 points. So this is a pretty low point cap. So I'm not going to get the most out of it, but for, you know, this purpose, you know, pretty good, respectable damage.
Enemy force sighted on the horizon.
Now the reload, 8 seconds, not bad at all. Now remember, like Chappie, this thing is very squishy. So don't expect to be like charging in. You want to play it like you did the Bajoni, the Shores. If you play it similar to like a Shores and Bajoni, you'll do absolutely fine in it. But it is very saucy having these 5 torpedoes on each side. Like, that gives you a lot of offensive ability. When you're for low health, you can just spit out torps. Because these torps, because they are deep water, so they're low detectability, and you can just fire them. So they're really great. And I'm basically kind of playing it very, you know, I don't want to charge in because I can't lose my health. Well, I'm just playing it, and I am, you know, as you did notice, I am divvied up with Glenn and Chum. Chum's in a Bismarck, Glenn's in a Lightning. It's been a while since we divvied up with these folks, hasn't it? Most of them in Cap and Hat, or Cap and Devil. Make the bad kill. We're up to about 12,000. Not bad. And I have the smoke, so I can just farm at this point. And this thing does have a pretty decent turning circle, so think your maneuvers ahead. But the range is spectacular, 17.5. Now Chappie does get does get a spotting aircraft, so that gets increased. But, you know, Chappie's just a damage, you know, farmer. Most of the Soviet cruisers are, you know, damage farmers. So there's not much special about him, but like Nevsky's on the is a final one, and she's just a light cruiser. Now I have range on this Gneiser. I'm gonna just farm him down because that's gonna be a good part of my damage. But honestly, you know, conserving your health is very important. And you'll see some do nots happen that I always argue against. But my team just doesn't. And it's unfortunate. But we still managed to pull out a decent, respectable star. I'm out. Again, this is like literally the perfect position. Yes, the shell arcs are pretty slow and they're pretty flat, so are pretty archy, but that's a good thing. Now the Atlantico is going to go into the port, which is unfortunate. Get a fire on Gneiser. Now that's permanent, so he's going to burn. Another fire, so that's 2 fires, and the damage is just ticking at this point. And yes, you might be thinking, well, what makes you different than, you know, Deathwing, Hip Canuck, or any other player that damage farms? Well, yes, they damage farm, but, you know, they do try to play the objective. And that's the difference. You can damage farm, absolutely, on this map. But if you, as long as you play the objective, you know, damage farming is very acceptable. But it's all about playing that objective and paying attention to when the reinforcements come. If you can get those reinforcements and damage farm at the same time, that's still pretty damn good. I was kind of annoyed that Glenn did take that battleship, because I was farming him down. I wanted more damage. Now you can see the guns are kind of looking at me and then they turn away, so I'm just trying to stay in a good position where I don't get farmed. And I just decided to go for the transports now because there's an Atlantico, there's the Lightning, they're just going to farm down that Baron, and his health is going, there's no point for me to shoot. Very okay, so I'm just going to help kill these transports. And right here we have the reinforcements showing up. Sorry. Nuevo de Julio is going north. Great ship. It's basically a Boise, a Helena. It's basically the Nuevo is basically the Helena. It was originally the USS Boise, so if you live in Idaho, that's really the only ship in the game that has our state capital. So I picked that ship up immediately. I got it when they first came around, so it was like a double where you could get, if you got the Boise or the Nuevo, you could get the other one for free for a mission. I got them both. Good ship. It is a cruiser that has a super heal. Low range, worse than the Helena, but you get a super heal. Good ship. But this Nuevo does do something that I honestly don't understand how he did it, but he did it. Now, Chum is in a very good position, but our Vanguard went in way too deep, and the Atlantico's useless. Now, Fuso shells coming in. Oof, that was close. That was very close. You saw those shells hit? Those are right near my Citadel. That would have really hurt. Like, if I had taken the double Citadel, I would have been out of action. There's nothing I could have done. And you'll see that come into effect just having that extra 2k health that allowed me to do a lot of stuff. Now, I'm protected, so I know the DD's here. And the Nuevo dies to Torps. He got so close to the Nurnberg that the Torps killed him. Everyone forgets that the Nurnberg has those Torps, and they reload pretty quickly. So, don't do that. Do not do that. Now I'm just kind of moving back and forth, trying to stay at an angle where the Fuso can't hit me. And you're seeing the shells from the Fuso come in. So I'm just trying to dodge him now. Just trying to stay healthy. And I pick up one of the reinforcements. So that's two of the reinforcements. So it's just the Nurnberg and the Baron that are left. And then these two Fusos. And I'm still sitting fairly broadside to this Fuso. But I'm getting really lucky and really away. And I'm landing a good amount of my shells. I get 3 barrels, so I get 6 guns, but I'm landing a pretty good amount of my shells. Like I had 8 shells on that Suzuki. And I just dropped Torps. Okay, this is why it's so nice to have these Torps.
Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy cruiser sighted.
And blind shot. In for the kill. Nope, miss. A little bit too high. And I start moving forward now. And I realize I hadn't popped my
We've sunk an enemy destroyer.
Reload booster. Which reloads it pretty fast, like 5 or 6 seconds. So, and I'm just spinning these. I know I usually ask to see be perpendicular and to do it that way, but I'm just trying to get a fire. I got a fire on him, so I know he DCP'd. So he's got a perma-fire on him now. Now, again, I'm missing the shells. I got a fire, a flood on him now, so he's got all that ticking on him now. But I realized I can't stay here. I'm losing the health to the Nurnberg, so I've got to get away. I can't stay here. I missed that Torp. That would have been nice to get another Torp on him. More shells coming in.
Problem solved, sir.
Again, they just overshoot me right around my Citadel, but I get lucky. And it's like, I gotta start trading with the Nurnberg. So I gotta get the island between me and the Fuso so I can shoot this Nurnberg. And I gotta out-trade him in damage. Now the Nurnberg does outfire me, but no, he gets 3 shells versus my 12 shells. So the old naval maneuver of crossing the T. Got a fire on him now. So now I can start winning the damage trade. And I'm just slowly whittling them down. So 22,000. So we're at even health now. And right now, I've picked up the trade now. And I got 2 fires on him going.
The ship is on fire.
He's gonna take damage on me, 3 fires, so I can win. I'm winning the damage trade now. Now, he got another 2 fires, so but my damage control is almost off cooldown. So, but we're seeing that the damage is, and he does start loading AP, which is unfortunate because that's gonna hurt. That's gonna really hurt. And I DCP, so I go back to fire because I can't take AP shells anymore.
Problem solved, sir.
I'm bouncing the shells, but he's still. Well, we're still pretty even as far as the damage trade. So, as far as the damage trade goes, I got really lucky. And basically at this point, I'm like, bro. Again, you heard that one bounce. Yeah, I bounced a Fuso shell. I got really lucky there. Really lucky. Now, my health is... I have no health anymore. But again, conserving your health. I just got whittled down by the Nurnberg. I'm thinking, I'm gonna live, but I'm at 2,500, 2,600 health. I have no health left, and I don't get a heal. So, I can't play aggressive no more. I can only farm and just play from a distance. But our Vanguard, he's the one that gets the dishonorable mention today. And you'll see his playstyle, which I don't understand. Now, Vanguard is a war spy, basically, that has insanely good rudder shift and everything. Like, he could have just charged out there and took so much fire and really helped the lightning and me. But you see how he just kind of stays there? Bismarck is up there, the Atlantico's moving up. He had the support, but he didn't really use it. Now, it's at this point that I'm like, do I go for the Fuso? Fortunately, nothing's shooting at me. And I'm just trying to farm this Fuso down. But again, Vanguard, look where he's going. Instead, he just drove straight out. And you think, okay, he's going to go straight out. Well, that's not what happened.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
I do get a fire on Fuso, so he DCPs. So I just got to get those fires on him. But see, Vanguard, he turns back in. He could have just drove straight out. I rather would have had him drive straight out. Now Glenn's detected, and he's in trouble. I mean, he's at 5,000 health, and I don't understand how the Vanguard went from like half health to like almost full health to half health so fast. I don't understand. Now, I'm like, focus the Fuso, and the torps run out. That's the only downside about Lightning, is that it doesn't have good torp. Now, I pop my reload booster like I should, and I drop everything. I know that Fuso's gonna drive straight into him, so I'm like, shoot, try to get those fires on him, and then I'm like, run to the evo zone. Again, I don't know how the Vanguard ended up on such low health. I don't understand how. I get a fire, great. But he's basically throwing a broadside to a Fuso.
Torpedoes astern.
Now, again, those torps look great, but the torp spread, as they go out further, that's what kills me. Now, lightning goes down, and I'm like, don't evac, I got torps on the Fuso. And Vanguard goes down to Fuso. I honestly don't know why, how, or how. I honestly thought I'd hit more torps. Now, I do get a perma-fled. And 2 floods on him, so I gotta get those fires on him now. But again, Chum goes down to fire. New Orleans is pushing in. I get a fire. close, and I'm like, crap, I gotta get to the evac zone. They're gonna die. And I'm like, get back to the evac zone. Get back. And Glenn's get to the exit. Gunai's now goes down. Now, I pick up the Fuso. Great. But the mass kills New Orleans. And Atlantico's like crud. And we're telling him to get back. Get in the exit. Get in the exit. Now he picks up the mass. Now, Mr. Elrond Defender, you were giving me a heart attack during this. You really did give me a heart attack. Really. This is like the second nail biter that I've had, and these are, and Glenn's Glone and Atlantico exit, like the Atlantico still half health. He could have made the turn and been out, but how he did it, I'm very, like confused. It worked, but it's very like confusing. I'm thinking, I'm not going to reach the exit in time. I need more speed. Now he does kill the gate, so his torp threat is gone. So great. He doesn't end up like the Massachusetts and Nebraska that died to DD. So that's great. That's an improvement. But I'm just thinking, I can't make it. We're at less than a minute, and I'm thinking, crud. We're going to lose. And this is a great game. I'm thinking, I can use this for a replay. But I'm thinking, crud, if this ends up being a defeat, I honestly can't use it. Because I like to use victories, but I could turn it into a how not to. We're almost at 30 seconds now. And you'll see just how close it is. Like, we're down past 30 seconds. Okay. And I get around this corner. And I zoom in. And I realize, oh, God, he made it at 20 seconds. We had 20 seconds left. And GG. Real close one there. Real close.